Okay, so tonight we are learning the teachings of Rabbi Tzadok, on Parshat Teruma, and this week really the Parshat Teruma is about building the Mishkan, and really the theme of the Parsha is about finding Hashem in our hearts, and that Hashem is very available, and to never think that you have to look far away to go to the long lost place where you can find spirituality. That it's really, we have the ability to bring Hashem into our hearts, and this is really the deeper meaning why Parshat Teruma is right after Matan Torah, because what happened after we got the Torah? That we got the Torah in two parshas, in Yisra Mishpatim, and like the very last part of Parshat Mishpatim is once again talking about the accepting the Torah, receiving the Torah, and right after that we have Parshat Teruma. So what's the connection? Why is these things juxtaposed to each other? So the Ramban explains, and lots of commentaries explain, that really the main thing that happened when we got the Torah was that we felt Hashem close. Okay, and this reality that Hashem was living amongst us, so that there was no distance. So Hashem wanted that to be something that could continue. That's something that could be sustained. That was the purpose of the Mishkan. The purpose of the Mishkan is that it should be a portable Har Sinai, a portable Mount Sinai, that this reality of having Hashem close and having Hashem really available and really accessible, so that should be something that shouldn't be just a one-time thing in history, a passing phase, but rather it should be something that's always the reality of being a Jew. So that's how he explains based on the Midrash, that when it says at the beginning of the Parsha, V'yikhuli, it says V'yikhuli Teruma, but he says, why does it say V'yikhuli? So the Midrash says that really what it means is that they should take me. That the mitzvah is, Hashem says, take me. What do you mean, take me? Take me into your hearts. I want you to just make a place in your heart that I can be there. I want you to take me. So this is really what this parsha is all about. And the Midrash brings on this parsha that it says, Ki lekach tov natati lachem torati al tazovu, that I've given you a very wonderful purchase. I've given you a very, 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 very beautiful purchase, very beautiful merchandise. Torati al tazovu, don't leave my Torah. So that's how the Torah, that's how the Medrash explains v'yikchu li truma. It uses the word mekach of a purchase, and it says that when it says purchase, it's a reference to the fact that the Torah is a purchase, that the Torah is a merchandise that Hashem gave us, and it's referring to the fact that we are able to purchase Hashem and have Him part of us, our reality, to be living within us, that we're purchased to Him. And it says in this week's parsha, it says in the Midrash that Hashem says that once I've given the Torah, so ani nimkarti ima, that it's a package deal. You got the Torah, so you've purchased me as well. I was sold to you with the Torah, and that's how Hashem looks at the parsha of the Mishkan as being the natural continuation of receiving the Torah, is because we purchased the Torah, so to speak. So the natural conclusion is that we purchased Hashem too, and now that Hashem is by us. Okay, what's it mean that Hashem is by us? It means that He is in us. Okay, that He's abiding by us. So this is this is something that we need to understand first of all about Torah. That Rabbi Tzadok is saying that what is Torah? The purpose of Torah, the goal of Torah, the essence of Torah is to be close to Hashem, and this is, we've said many times, this is the difference between Torah and any other subject, between Torah and any other wisdom, that a person that learns mathematics, the person that learns science, the person that learns literature, so it only affects his brain. He has some kind of information, he has some kind of knowledge that he didn't have before, and it's not going to transform him on the inside. Like he can get certainly any kind of information can get you thinking about something, and once you think something, so then the thinking process is going to get you somewhere. But with Torah, it's way more simple than that. That with Torah, just the mere fact that Torah went into your soul, the fact that you said Torah, the fact that you thought about Torah, so it's not about the intellectual content. It's something that transforms. The Torah has this quality that it transforms a person. And that's why this famous midrash that says that that Hashem says that even if people stop keeping mitzvahs, but I just hope that they keep on learning Torah, Because if they keep on learning Torah, then the light of the Torah will inspire them to be better people. They'll come back. Like as long as the Medrash is brought down to the Messias Sharon, that the Torah has a quality that it can inspire a person. The Torah has a quality that it can transform a person, and therefore that it's not just the intellectual content, but actually it's alive. Like, why is it alive? Because when you purchase Torah, you purchase Hashem too. So there's the spirituality, there's the spirit, there's this divine presence that's coming inside of you, and that's what's inspiring you, that's what's changing you, that's what's that a person will simply learn Torah, and out of nowhere they'll just want to be a little bit nicer. Out of nowhere they'll just want to be a little bit more connected. That just the exercise of learning Torah is something that doesn't just affect your brain, it affects your entire consciousness. And that's why Torah is different than any other subject. That's where Rav Kook calls that the Torah is alive as opposed to the other subjects being dead. That the Torah is never divorced from the source of the Torah. Okay, so when you're learning Torah, you're getting divinity inside of you. Therefore, it affects you, and therefore it transforms you, and it changes you. So this is the purpose of Torah. The purpose of Torah is to connect with God, and that's why he says that Torah is also unlike any other subject in the sense that with any other subject, so only a person with high intellectual capacity is able to succeed in any other subject. Okay, if you're just not bright, if you just don't have like a high IQ, so then there's only so far you'll be able to get in biology. There's only so far you'll be able to get in any kind of subject in the university. And with Torah, it's actually not like that. With Torah, you can have a person with a very low mental capacity that they are actually very, very connected to Torah. And this is a midrash that he brings this week's parsha that he shared before. There's a midrash that says in Vayikra Rabbah that Rabbi Yanai once saw a person, he once saw a stranger, and he asked him, so would you like to come for a meal? And he said, sure. And in the course of the meal, so he asked, tell me that have you heard a good shir recently? He said, no. Have you learned a good Gemara recently? No. Did you learn a good Mishnah recently? No. Did you learn any Tanakh? No. Do you know anything? Do you know how to bench? You know that? No. He says, you bench. I'll say amen. So he says, he says, do you know? Can you repeat after me? He said, yeah, I can repeat after you. Say after me. A dog just ate Yanai's food. Meaning he was so offended that such an ignorant person was his guest, so that he was really turned off. And the guy was super offended. The guy was super offended, and he said, who do you think you are? I actually once I was passing by a cheder. I was passing by a school where the children were learning Torah, and they were learning psukim, and I heard them say that Torah tzivah lanu Moshe merasha kilas Yaakov. That Hashem gave the Torah to the Jewish people. It's the merasha, it's the inheritance of kilas Yaakov. So it doesn't say kilas Yanai. Yanai was the Rav's name. It doesn't say kilas Yanai. It says kilas Yaakov. The Torah is for everybody. Who do you think you are? That just because I don't know as many psukim as you, I don't know as many gemaras as you, so I'm not connected to Torah. And Yanai did amazing tshuva on the spot. He felt he. I
understand. He told him to repeat. A dog ate Yanai's food.
Yeah. He was trying to make fun of him, that he was calling the guy a dog.
He
was calling the guest a dog. He was kind of like, you don't know anything, so you're a dog. And because you ate my food.
He's trying to see how gullible he is or something. Okay, so he was calling the guy a dog.
Calling the guy a dog.
Just say a dog ate.
Yeah, and the guy realized that he was calling him a dog, and he said, "How dare you?" That I learned one pasuk that it says the Merasha Kilas Yaakov. And when it says Yaakov is always a reference to like the lower level of the Jewish people, like from the word Akev, which means the heel, and so Torah is actually relevant to everybody, and just because you don't have high mental capabilities, just because you learn in yeshiva for your whole life, so that doesn't mean that you're not super connected to Torah. And this, of course, is a very Hasidic idea. This is one of the revolutionary things that the Baal Shem Tov brought into the world, is that Torah is not just meant for the intellectually elite, as was thought before the Baal Shem Tov came around. That during the time that when the Litvish people were in charge of Torah, and this is like in Litvish yeshivas. So like if you weren't in the spitziest yeshiva, so then you were nothing. And the Baal Shem Tov said, "Hey guys, you peasants, that I know that your Litvish friends always told you that like Judaism isn't really for you, but they're wrong. They're come. Let me tell you a story. Let me daven. Let's daven with you, and like you can be just as close to Hashem as they are, if not more." And it was reminding people that you can actually be connected to Torah without knowing all the Gemaras. And there's like this is the point of like thousands of Hasidic stories. That the point is that even simple people can be very, very super connected, very, very holy even. And I'll share with you a simple story that just comes to mind that could be I've shared it before, but it's a very, very very, very strong story. That there was a student of Reb Zusha. Reb Zusha is a little bit extreme in the fact that he wasn't a very Talmudic scholar. That Reb Zusha was he was just like start learning one pasuk, and he would just get so into that pasuk that he was filled with spirituality and filled with connection that he couldn't move on just because from this feeling of bliss, a feeling of dveikut. So there was a student of the Bezusha that was also a student of a Litvish Rebbe, a Litvish Rav, and then it always bothered him that this Litvish Rav would always make fun of Bezusha, because he knew that Bezusha was a very holy man, and he held very, very highly of him, and he was very inspired by him, and he was always asking him for advice, and so it bothered him that this Rav was always making fun of Bezusha. So one day, this person's father passed away, and he had this recurring dream that his father was appearing to him in the dream, and he looked like he wasn't okay. He looked like he was troubled, and so he didn't know what to do. So he went to Bezusha, and he said, "Rabbi, what do I do? That my father's coming to me in the dream." And he thought for a moment, and he said, "You know, that I think that your father was accidentally buried with a cross. He was accidentally buried that somehow the cross fell into his burial site, and that's why he's not at rest. And so I recommend that you dig up where he was buried and check that there wasn't any cross there by mistake, and then he'll be okay." And so he did, and he saw that there was a coin, on the coin was a cross, and he took out the coin, and his father never came back. So he was saying, so he was thinking like, wow, this is like, you can't deny that Reb Zusha is a holy man if he knew something so crazy. So he went to his Rav, and he said, "Rav, I know you've been thinking that Reb Zusha is a simple man, he's just an ignorant person, but let me tell you the most crazy story." And so he told him the whole story, and the Rav laughed. And he says, "You know what? There's a Gemara Yerushalmi that says that. But I'll tell you what the miracle is. The miracle is that how did Reb Zusha know the Gemara Yerushalmi? Everybody knows that he doesn't know anything. That's the miracle." So the guy was all tzarech, and he was all broken, and thinking, "Oh, that's so weird. Like I was sure that he has like divine prophecy, inspiration, and like it's really just a Gemara. It's so simple." And so he went back to Reb Zusha, and he said, "Tell me something. Like that's the whole story, that you know the Gemara?" And he said, "My dear son, I promise you, I didn't know the Gemara. I knew it from the same place that the Gemara knew it." Meaning they had the Gemara know such a thing because they were connected to the source of knowledge. And so Reb Zusha was saying that I'm connected to where all the knowledge comes from. So he might know more Gemaras than me, but I'm connected to the source. So I have all the wisdom that he has without knowing all of the information that he has. Okay, and that's something that even a simple person, he wasn't studying Gemaras, he wasn't memorizing lists, he wasn't the kind of person that could ask the most brilliant question, give the most brilliant answer. He just knew what he needed to know because he was connected. Okay, and that is something that Chassidus brings out. That is really the purpose of learning Torah, is to be connected to the source of knowledge. And that's why you can have people that know a lot, but they're really just horrible people, and they know a lot of Gemaras, and they know a lot of halachas, and there's a concept that the Ramban talks about called naval b'shus HaTorah, a despicable person with the permission of the Torah. That the Torah gives permission to be a despicable person, And that's referring, like, obviously it doesn't, but it means that you can know the halacha in a way that you can manipulate halacha, in a way that you can find the loopholes, that it's okay to be a disgusting person, because who says that you can't be a disgusting person? Where does it say that I'm not allowed to be a jerk? Where is it? And like you can find, and a person that just reads the laws. So because of all the trees, you don't see the forest, and like you missed the entire point. That if you would have been connected, if you would ask yourself constantly, what does Hashem want me to do? Then you would never say such a thing. And so this is a very basic thing in Chassidus, that really Torah is not just for the intellectual elite. It's not even for the people who are Talmid Chachamim only. It's even a person that doesn't have time to learn, that when you have time, if you are really learning, then in a true way, so then you can be connected, and the Torah is for you as well. Okay, so this is what Torah is all about, and and this is what it means that is Marasha Kelas Yaakov. And so now the Reb Tzadok continues. Tzadok continues that says that there's three dimensions. There's 3 dimensions of reality. It says that. I thought so. So Reb Tzadok says that 3 dimensions of reality. It says that there's Olam Shana Nefesh. This comes from the Ravid, that it says that Ashan stands for Olam Shana Nefesh. Olam means world, Shana means year, and Nefesh means soul. Okay, so there's three different dimensions. Olam means the dimension of space, and Shana means the dimension of time, and Nefesh means the dimension of consciousness. So, in the dimension of space. So what is the holiest place? The holiest place is the Mishkan. In the dimension of time, what is the holiest place? What's the holiest time? Is Shabbos. In the dimension of consciousness, so what's the holiest consciousness? The consciousness of the tzaddik, of the Talmid Chacham, of the leader. Okay, so the first connection was the Mishkan, which really represents the Torah, and that's why in the holiest place in the Mishkan, what was there? The Aron, the Aron, which was where the Torah was, where the tablets were, and that's why the very first mitzvah in this week's parsha, after it says Hashem says build a Mishkan, so what's the very first thing? He says build the Aron, because the Aron is the essence of the Mishkan, because it's through Torah that we bring Hashem's presence down. So the Mishkan, that is the Torah. So first of all, that everybody has a connection to Torah. And secondly, everybody has a connection to Shabbos. And so thirdly, everybody has a connection to the tzaddik. Okay? Now what does that mean? So he explains that when it says that we have a connection, so it's actually not just that we're connected, it's actually that the simple people are what's making the Mishkan. Mm-hmm. That's what's making the Mishkan. The Midrash says, he brings, that at the beginning of the Parsha, that Moshe Rabbeinu asked Hashem that, that could, when Hashem said, like, I want you to build me a Mishkan, I want you to build me a house, build me a home, I want to live with you, build me a home. So Moshe said, can the Jewish people do such a thing? So Hashem answered her that not only can the Jewish people do it, afilu achas misrael yachal asayso, even one Jew could do it. And that's what it says at the beginning of the Parsha, made kol ish asher yidvenu libo. Even one person can do this amazing feat of building a Mishkan. That Hashem says that I don't need this big holy, I don't need you, I don't need fancy holy people, tzaddikim people. Every single Jew can build a Mishkan. That's what it says, kol ish asher yidvenu libo. So really, Moshe Rabbeinu made this mistake. Moshe Rabbeinu made this mistake to think that the only people that can really be connected, there are people that can really bring the Shekhinah to do stuff in this world, it's only the very, very holy people, the people that can fast from Shabbos to Shabbos, the people that can learn 18 hours a day. And Hashem was saying, calm down. Even the most simple person, the people that have to work, the people that don't have a high attention span, the people that are tired, that those people can also bring the Shekhinah. That even the simple people, I need them. It's them that are making the difference. And so this is true. This is true by the Mishkan. He says that this is true by Shabbos. It says that v'shamu b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat l'doratam. So the Midrash says that what does it mean la'asot et Shabbat? That when the Jewish people keep Shabbos, so they make Shabbos. That Shabbos is something that the Jewish people, when we say Kiddush, when we say Kabbalah Shabbos, when we eat our meals, when we're connecting to Shabbos, we are the ones making Shabbos into Shabbos. And Reb Tzadok says that every single Jew is making Shabbos. Rabbi Nachman. So he would always admire. He would always appreciate the people that do simple things at Shabbos. The people that just say Zmiras. The people that spend a long time singing Zmiras on Shabbos. In very Litvish places, they don't sing. They do as quick a meal as they can, and then they run back to learn. And Rabbi Nachman said, I like these simple people, just learning Tehillim, saying Tehillim a lot, just doing simple things. Just he appreciated that when a simple Jew does a simple act, but for Hashem. When you do a simple act, so that's what makes Shabbos. That don't think it's not the fancy mekubalim that are the ones making Shabbos. It's every single person is making Shabbos. And then he goes on to say that that's even true for the tzaddikim. In the third dimension, the dimension of consciousness, that the highest dimension of consciousness is the consciousness of the tzaddik. So Tzadok says that there's a Gemara in Echen that says haparnas lefi hadar, that the kedusha, the level, the spiritual level of the leader of the generation is dependent on the generation. This actually is a very interesting thing, because I once read in one of Rabbi Sax's books that he quotes, I don't remember the names, that he quotes different, I think it was, one of them was for sure Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and I think the other one was Aquinas, but I'm not sure, that in the philosophy of history, so there's a dispute that what's the correlation between the leaders of history and the common folk? Is it that the generation creates the leaders, or that the leaders create the generation? So Reb Tzadok over here is taking a stand that actually it's the generation that creates the leaders, and if it wouldn't be for the simple people, then the leaders wouldn't be able to have what it takes to do what they need to do. They wouldn't be inspired. They wouldn't be. So, if we're talking about Mashiach, so that not everybody's going to be Mashiach, but Mashiach has to be a result of all of us simple people being worthy of Mashiach. So we are the ones bringing Mashiach. We are the ones creating the Mashiach by being the nation that is ready for Mashiach. So there can't be a Mashiach until there's a Mashiach generation which is ready for the Mashiach. So this is this is really the question of how does it work? Does it work from up to down to up? In other contexts we've talked about that it's a dispute. What's the real way to make a difference? Is it through politics or is it through media? That if you want to really make a difference, so should you try to be the prime minister, or should you try to be the one the journalist, the person who's giving over the news and Reb Tzadok is saying that really the difference comes from the bottom. It's really the prime minister is just a puppet of what the people are saying, and which is actually true to a certain extent, because you see how much democracy is, how much what people want actually makes a difference, and the people with the real power, the people who are able to affect the masses, or people who affect how the small people think. And so this is what Reb Tzadok is proposing, that it's really that it all starts from the bottom, and the biggest difference that what's really happening, the changes in the world, is really based on the simple people at the bottom. So this is this is something which is actually very fascinating. That this week's parsha, so the Shabbos is also called Shabbos Shkalim. So Shabbos Shkalim. So this is because it's Rosh Chodesh. And Rosh Chodesh, so it says Rosh Chodesh Adar Mashpin al Ashkalim, that every single year when they had a Beis Hamikdash, so when the Adar would come around, so it's time to bring your half a shekel. So what's the thing about half a shekel? So that the half a shekel is that the karbanot, that the sacrifices in the Beis Hamikdash, they needed to come from the half shekel coins of every single Jew. That there couldn't be one person that didn't give, and in fact that because if there would be one person missing, then the sacrifices would not be kosher. that's why what they would do is that before they started, they would say, here, I'm going to give this on behalf of anybody that didn't give. So like I'm giving instead of them, but it's there. And if there would be one person missing, then the sacrifices wouldn't be kosher. So it says in the Gemara that there's three things that Moshe Rabbeinu had trouble with. That it says niskasha Moshe Rabbeinu. One of them was machzor shekel. That Hashem he didn't really get it. He didn't understand how this works, and Hashem showed him a half a shekel from fire. Zeh yitnu. So that how somehow answered the question. And it says by Rosh Chodesh. By Rosh Chodesh also Moshe Rabbeinu had something he didn't understand about it, and it said Chodesh hazeh. It says every time zeh. And by menorah it says v'zeh ma'aseh menorah. It says when it says v'zeh, it means that Hashem had to show it to him. It means that Moshe Rabbeinu had a problem with the menorah. He had something a difficulty he didn't understand. And these are the three things that Moshe Rabbeinu had a difficulty with the half a shekel, with the kiddush HaChiddush, and with the menorah. So I was thinking, well, like what's the commonality between these three things? Is that Moshe Rabbeinu's thing was that Moshe Rabbeinu understood that big tzaddikim can make a difference in the world, but he didn't understand that the little simple folk can make a difference. Why would Hashem care about the little mitzvahs of the little people that we can do without them? And we see in these are the three things. These are the three times that we see machzor shekel is that every single little person makes a difference. If you have one little Jew in the middle of who knows where that they didn't give the machzor shekel, so the Kohen Gadol is going to be waiting. It's like, sorry, it's like it says there that there's one Nebuch family from Texas that they didn't send their machzor shekel. So the assistant Kohen Gadol is saying, come on, it's just the Texas guys, we can do without them. And Moshe Rabbeinu was saying, no. If there's one Jew in Texas that's not represented here, then we can't go on. Okay, that's the first thing. And Kiddush HaChiddush is, it's a very similar thing. That Hashem says that you Jewish people, you're the one making the calendar. That Hashem says that I'm not going to make a calendar, that I'm not going to cause it to be Pesach until you decide that it's Rosh Chodesh, it's not going to be Pesach. And Hashem is saying that giving the reins to our hands. Okay? Menorah is the same thing. The Midrash says that why do we have a menorah? Is Hashem scared of the dark? Hashem has all the light. Hashem created the sun. Hashem created everything. Why does he need it? Why does he need our light? He needs us to light up. That Hashem, there's your little night light here, tuck him in, and it's that, and the Midrash says that it's Edus hu l'kol ha'olam shashchina shvei b'Yisrael. That the purpose of the menorah is that to be a testimony to the entire world that the Shekhinah, the Hashem's presence, rests in Jewish people. That means that Hashem is saying, I want your light. That I care about you. I want you to light me up. I want to get from you. That I care about you. And these are the three things that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't get. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't get Hashem, you're so good, you're so powerful, how can simple Jews make a difference? And Hashem was telling them, you don't need to understand. It could be that you won't understand, it's unnecessary, that trust me, that I need the simple avodah of the simple Jews, and that is what makes all the difference to me. So this is really what the theme is really about how simple people can and must make a difference, and how really it's not just the higher things. But the question is, how do we do it? The bottom line so what is the secret? The secret is not high intellectual capability. The secret is not being able to fast for 5 days in a row. The secret is not to So what is the secret? So the Torah tells us this as well, that it says ish asher yidvenu libo. This is the very first pasuk in the Chumash, in the Torah, in this Parshat, that ish asher yidvenu libo me'et kol ish asher yidvenu libo. So the first thing is, what does it mean ish asher yidvenu libo? That his heart wants him to give. His heart inspired him to give. So the Midrash says that there's one thing that a Jew can give Hashem, and that is his will. That Hashem says, I want. That Hashem says, if you want, so that is the most beautiful thing. And the desire to give. The desire to give Hashem, that is the most amazing thing to Hashem. And the truth is that it's obvious that was the purpose of this whole thing, of this whole campaign, because what was Hashem saying? Hashem was saying that, guys, I want you to give me all the ingredients for the Mishkan. I need you to get me some silver, get me some gold, get me some diamonds, and like Hashem can do whatever He wants. Why does He need to ask us for favors? Like it says, Liha Kesef, Hashem has all the gold in the world. Hashem, you want, like, why are you being cheap? Like, you give the gold, you give the silver, you give why do we need to do it? So it says by the man. It says that Hashem would sprinkle down gems and diamonds and special things. That Hashem when Hashem wants to give gold and silver and precious stones, He's able to do so. It's not a problem. So why is He asking for us? Why is He asking for us? So the whole reason why He's asking for us is because He wants our hearts. Because He wants us to give. That He doesn't need the money. He needs us to want to give the money. He doesn't. So that desire to give, the place in our heart that I want to give Hashem, so that is the only thing that we can give Hashem. That is something very, very precious. So, what is the second thing? What is the second thing? So the Zohar says that ish asher yidvenu libo. What does it mean? What does it mean, ish? So the Zohar says that ish is a person that mitkaber al yitzro, a person that's able to overcome his yetzer hara, a person who's able to be strong. And so Tzadok explains that ish comes from the term that a person who is a minister, a person who's an officer, a person who's strong, a person who's in control. So the person who's in control, that's ish. And so, a person who's in control, that means a person that doesn't allow his yetzer hara to control him. Okay, so this is the second thing that we can give Hashem. Like Hashem says, like, how do we get Him? How do we bring Hashem into our lives? So there's two things. There's two things that we do. There's two things that we're able to physically to give to Hashem. That number one, the desire of our heart. Number one, that we want, that we're trying, that we care. Okay, and the desire to give. This is the thing that actively brings Hashem into our lives. And number two is the act of being strong, the act of conquering of the yetzer hara, of being true to our values, of that even if it's not the easy thing, even if it's not the convenient thing, that to be true to our values, that this is something that I don't want to do. I want to be loyal to Hashem. I want to be loyal to myself. And I'm not going to allow myself to be controlled by the lower parts of my psyche. So that the shvirat yetzer, those the little acts, so that's something that even little people can do. And this it makes all the difference. And so Moshe Rabbeinu was saying that, okay, I get it. Like shvirat yetzer means that you're going to do something amazing. Shviras Yetzer means that you're going to say that from now on I'm going to quit my job where I sometimes have to talk to not religious people. I'm just going to move to Mea Sharim and shave my head and that's like if I can do that's a Shviras Yetzer. But and the Midrash is saying that no, Hashem is so overwhelmed. Hashem is so overcome by the simple Shviras Yetzer, the baby steps. The person says that I'm going to overcome my yetzer for 5 minutes a day. I'm going to be less on my phone. I'm going to be less lashon hara. I'm going to be more careful about where I eat, to make careful where I look, to make careful of the little things that the person that A, I care, and B, I'm being strong in baby steps. So this is how we acquire. This is how we acquire Hashem. This is how we acquire that Hashem is going to enter our hearts. This is how we acquire that Hashem is going to enter our lives. And so this is really the theme of this week's Parsha. That it's something that every single person can do. This is something that even the simple people can do. This is something that Hashem is not dependent on the big tzaddikim. That everybody is a little tzaddik, and that the Mishkan is dependent on us, and Shabbos is dependent on us, and even the tzaddikim are dependent on us. And like we said before, so that because if the leaders are dependent on the simple people, so then the Mashiach is also dependent on the little people. And so every single one of us, with our little Ratzon Halev, with our trying, with our caring, they're caring, and with our little baby steps. So we are actually making a difference. We are the ones building our little Mishkan. We are the ones bringing Mashiach. B'ezrat Hashem. L'chaim.
Amen.